We're here to basically cut through the noise on complex topics and give you the core insights you can actually use.
That's the plan.
And today we're diving into leadership, resilience,
Mm.
really mental toughness, drawing from Admiral McRaven's work. We've got bits from his speech, Failure, Strength, and Challenge, and also some key ideas from his book, Make Your Bed.
Yeah, really influential stuff.
Definitely. And the thread connecting all this, it seems to be this idea that real strength isn't found when things are easy. It's forged right in the middle of difficulty, necessary difficulty, even failure.
Right. It's not just, positive thinking fluff. This comes from decades of experience in extremely high-pressure situations.
Exactly. Operational philosophy, not just theory.
And our mission today, for you listening, is to kind of give you the shortcut to understanding McRaven's core idea.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take those setbacks that life inevitably throws at you and turn them into, well, opportunities? He doesn't exactly call it embrace the suck in these sources, but that's really the underlying mechanic, isn't it? Building strengths by engaging with the hard stuff you have to go through.
Okay, let's unpack that straight away then. Where does he start? It seems like he begins with a pretty blunt assessment of life.
He does. No sugarcoating.
He says, life is a struggle and the potential for failure is ever present. That feels almost bracingly honest compared to how we usually talk about aiming for success.
It really does, and I think that's the point. He's taking the emotional sting out of failure right from the start. If it's ever present, then trying to achieve perfection or avoid failure entirely, it's kind of a waste of energy.
Right, it becomes a given, not a catastrophe.
Exactly. But the really critical part is what he connects to that struggle, the payoff. He basically argues you can only find out what is truly possible for yourself if you're willing to push your limits. You can't know your potential without stress testing it.
Okay, so if you stay in your comfort zone,
You're essentially choosing ignorance about your own capabilities. Think about that. You're actively deciding not to know how strong or capable you could be.
wow.
The struggle isn't a bug, it's the feature. It's the measuring stick. It's not bad luck. It's the only way to gauge your true capacity.
So comfort equals stagnation then, not safety. If struggle is how you find out what you're made of, does that mean we should actively look for hard things? Or just accept them when they come?
I think it's both, really. It's definitely about willingly accepting difficulty when it arises, but also sometimes, choosing the harder path because it's harder. That's the whole embrace the suck idea in practice.
Right.
It's not masochism. It's not about loving misery. It's about understanding that purposeful hardship is the forge. That's how strength gets built. When we look at the video themes, enduring hardship, facing fear, those are the action steps.
Mm-hmm.
You step into that uncomfortable space, learning something new, tackling a tough project, maybe physical training, knowing that the level of difficulty is directly linked to the strength you'll gain on the other side.
That makes sense conceptually, but the sources give us this incredibly specific, almost kind of absurd image for that moment when you give maximum effort and get, well, punished for it. We need to talk about the sugar cookie.
Ah, yes. The sugar cookie. It's such a powerful metaphor from SEAL training.
Can you quickly explain what that is for anyone who hasn't heard of it?
Sure. So imagine you're a SEAL trainee.
Yeah.
Maybe you messed up some small detail like your uniform wasn't perfect. The punishment is often to run, fully dressed, into the cold ocean surf, get completely soaked, and then immediately run out and roll around in the sand until you are coated head to toe,
Oh.
like a human sugar cookie, often shivering, totally miserable.
Okay, but why is that image so important? It's not just failure, it feels like. Pointless suffering added onto effort.
Exactly. Because it perfectly captures that feeling of giving your absolute best effort, maybe even being meticulous, and the result is total, deliberate misery and failure. It's crucial for listeners to grasp this. This isn't failing because you were lazy. It's failure or misfortune despite your best efforts. In our world, maybe it's pouring weeks into a project, nailing the presentation, and then the client's budget gets cut or the market shifts, and all that work just evaporates. You're left feeling like that sandy, shivering trainee.
Yeah, that sandy, miserable heap of wasted energy. I can picture that.
And that is the moment most people mentally check out, or even quit entirely. The emotional weight of high effort yielding zero reward, or even negative reward, it's incredibly demoralizing.
Mm-hmm.
McRaven uses the sugar cookie story to teach that this specific kind of setback is inevitable if you're pushing yourself. If you are truly trying hard things, sooner or later, you're going to end up as a sugar cookie.
So that completely flips the script. It's not about preventing the sugar cookie moment, because you probably can't if you're ambitious. It's about what you do right after you become the sugar cookie.
Precisely. And this brings us to the second core lesson, the real test. How do you respond in that exact moment?
And his instruction is?
It's incredibly direct, almost stark. The quote basically commands, don't complain, don't blame it on your misfortune.
No. No room for self-pity there. Why is cutting off the complaining so vital? Isn't it natural, maybe even healthy, to vent a little when you're miserable?
Well, there's a difference between acknowledging misery and complaining. Complaining usually involves assigning blame externally.
Ah, okay.
It's the sand's fault, the cold water's fault, the instructor's fault, the bad luck, the faulty tech. The moment you start blaming, you're giving away control. You're making yourself a victim of circumstance.
Right.
McRaven's point is, yes, your external situation might be objectively terrible, but your internal response has to remain yours. It's about maintaining that mental ownership, even when everything else feels like it's falling apart.
Okay, so don't complain, don't blame. What then?
Then comes the pivot. The instruction continues. Instead of focusing on the sand and the cold, you have to stand tall, look to the future, and drive on.
Let's break that down. Stand tall. That sounds almost physical. What's the significance of that posture when you feel completely defeated?
It's huge. It's a physical embodiment of an internal choice. Think about leadership or just personal resilience. How you carry yourself signals your state of mind, both to yourself and others.
Okay.
Slumping reinforces the feeling of defeat. Standing tall, even when you're metaphorically covered in sand, is a nonverbal declaration. This sucks, yes, but I am still in control of my next move. I'm not broken.
Got it. And then drive on, that follows directly.
Right, and drive on isn't just like blindly stumbling forward. It implies disciplined action. It means consciously choosing to reset your focus, accept the immediate pain or setback without dwelling on it, and shifting your energy towards the next objective. What needs to happen now?
Okay.
It pulls a whole resilience piece together. Acknowledge the reality of the failure. Refuse to wallow or blame. Take charge of your mental and physical posture. And then critically, pivot to the next required action.
That's a really powerful sequence. So, okay, let's try to synthesize this for everyone listening. If we boil down McRaven's philosophy based on these sources, what are the core pillars for conquering challenges?
Yeah, we can break it down.
Pillar 1 seems to be accept reality. Failure isn't just possible, it's ever present, as he says. It's part of the game.
Exactly. And the application for you is adjust your expectations. Stop seeing failure as a personal indictment. See it as feedback, as the cost of doing business when you're aiming high. If your new initiative fails, Pillar 1 means you kind of expected it might, so you skip the shock and go straight to analyzing what went wrong and what's next.
Okay. Pillar 2, strength through hardship. This is the embrace the suck engine. Strength isn't built in comfort. It's forged only by enduring difficulty and facing things that make you uncomfortable.
Right. And the takeaway here is pretty direct. If your work or your goals aren't making you feel a bit uncomfortable sometimes, you're probably coasting. You're not growing. So the application is maybe deliberately choosing the slightly harder option sometimes, even if an easier path exists to the same goal. Take on that challenging task, have that difficult conversation. That added friction is the growth mechanism.
Makes sense. And pillar 3, proactive resilience. Especially after you've had that sugar cookie moment, the way forward is that active choice to drive on.
Yeah, this is really the leadership component. Even if you're just leading yourself, it's about controlling your own narrative after a setback. You have this very small window after failure before the negativity really cements itself.
Right.
Pillar 3 says you use that window. Choose your posture, stand tall. Choose your next action, drive on. It means the very first thing you do after a project bombs isn't finger pointing, it's asking, okay, what's the immediate next step we need to take?
When you put it all together like that, it really does feel like a practical toolkit. And it definitely applies way beyond the military.
Absolutely. Think about leading a team through a tough quarter, or making a big career change, or even just learning a difficult new skill. That fear of failing, of looking foolish, of feeling like that sugar cookie, it's universal.
Yeah, totally.
But what these ideas offer is reassurance. The knowledge you gain from pushing through that kind of maximum effort, minimum reward setback, that's the most valuable knowledge there is.
Why is that?
Because it proves to you what you can actually handle. It's not theoretical strength, it's demonstrated resilience. The struggle itself unlocks the understanding of your true capabilities. It shows you that you can endure more and perform better under pressure than you probably thought possible.
So the struggle is the proof.
Exactly, it's the practical evidence.
Okay, this has been incredibly insightful. We've gone from accepting failure as, just part of the landscape, all the way to a very specific command for how to react when you feel utterly defeated, like that sugar cookie.
Hmm,
And the crucial point isn't about avoiding the sand. It's about your immediate disciplined response after you fall in it. That's what builds future strength.
well said.
So to leave you with something to think about, building on this idea of pushing limits, if McRaven's right that you only discover what's truly possible when you push yourself right up to and maybe even past the point of failure,
Yeah.
what small area of discomfort, what potential sugar cookie moment are you maybe avoiding right now? What edge are you shying away from? That might be the very thing holding you back from seeing your real potential. Maybe push that line just a little bit this week. Something to chew on.
Good thought.
Until next time on The Deep Dive.